Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be taking a look at the best loadouts for King of the Hill. More specifically, the two best loadouts for killing infantry, the best anti-material loadout, the best sniping loadout, and the best loadout to be prepared for every situation. Now, an important thing to note, this video is focused around infantry-only servers. I will have a guide in the future covering tactics for taking out armored vehicles, air vehicles, that type of stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. Alright, so the first loadout we'll be taking a look at is, in my opinion, the most effective loadout for killing infantry and sticking in one relative area in the AO. So, for your uniform, you're going to use the Specialist. You can use any uniform you want, but I prefer the Specialist. For your perks, you are going to run Ammo, Machine Gunner, and Medic. Now, you can run this loadout with only one perk and just use the gun, or you can run 2 or 3. I find it to be the most effective if you have 3 perks. So. Now, as far as the actual weapon, I use the SPMG with the MRCO sight. And then for handgun, you can run any handgun you want, but I personally find the PO7 suppressed to work the best after I run out of ammo and have to use the pistol. So, this loadout will not serve you very well at range. Anything under 500 meters you can kill fairly easily. Anything under 200 meters you can destroy, and vehicles in general under 500 meters are fairly easy to destroy as well, whether it's a helicopter, an infrared, really any vehicle. You do not have much stamina with this loadout. That's why I recommend the Specialist, because it gives you some stamina, some armor, and then you have a speed boost too, making it a lot easier to get around and travel. Now, as far as the actual ammo supply, you have a very large supply of ammo with this loadout, which makes it great for killing infantry, because you can rack up well over 100 kills if you're accurate and not have to rearm. Now, the chances of actually getting 100 kills using this loadout and before having to rearm is fairly slow, but it is possible. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the next loadout. Alright, the second loadout we're going to be taking a look at is, in my opinion, the second best loadout for killing infantry, and depending on your playstyle, it can very well be the best loadout. Now, as far as your clothing, you're going to use the Rifleman. You can, just like all the other loadouts in this video, use whatever clothing you want, but I find Rifleman to be most effective. For your perks, you are going to run Ammo, Medic, and Indefatigable. And then for your weapons, you're going to run an AK-12 with an ARCO sight, and then the handgun of your choice. Although you don't really need a handgun, I prefer the carry one, and I personally use the PO7 suppress because it's my favorite and I find it to be most effective. This loadout is most effective constantly moving. Unlike the SPMG loadout where you have very low stamina and you want to find a tower or a building to stick in, this loadout you have fairly high stamina, and this gun is fairly good accuracy even after sprinting. So it's a great loadout to just constantly be moving around the AO. For an assault rifle, you have a very good supply of ammo. On fully automatic, you can just spray and pray, and you should have pretty good chances of killing your enemy. On burst fire, single burst should be enough to kill an enemy, and at range, a single bullet is a fairly consistent one-hit kill in the torso, depending on their body armor. Now, as far as the actual sight, you have a green dot on the top, and then ACOG style reticle on your 2x. 2x is automatically ranged to 300 meters, green dots range to 200 meters. And this is, like I said, depending on your playstyle, either the second best or the best loadout for killing infantry. And sometimes I'll use this over the SPMG just depending on the mood I'm in. This is very effective though. You can easily rack up kills in a game using this, and it's a good loadout to level up with because of the kills you can rack up. And because you have Medic and Fatigable, you can run around and heal your teammates and revive and that type of stuff, which can make a large amount of money as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next loadout. Alright, so the next loadout we're going to take a look at is the anti-material loadout. This is a loadout designed for taking out light armored vehicles. So you got your Hunter, your Strider, Ifrit, Off-Roads, Quillins, Prowlers, all those types of vehicles. This loadout is based around infantry only, and it's the most effective on infantry only servers, although it can be used to take out heavy armor things such as tanks and APCs. Now, as far as your actual clothing, you're going to run the Specialist. You don't really want Rifleman or Spec Ops because you will have no stamina. Ghillie suits are okay, although I see no point behind it, and after that you can just use anything you want. I find Specialists to be the most effective. For your perks, you're going to run Ammo, Launcher, and Explosive. Now for this loadout, to make it as effective as it usually is, you need all 3 perks. Removing one of these perks makes it much harder to function as it's supposed to. For your actual loadout, you're going to run an AK-12, an ARCO, or any scope you're choosing. I usually run the AMS, but that's unlocked at an extremely high level, so ARCOs can probably be your best bet. As far as your launcher, you're going to go with an RPG-7, and again, you can use any pistol you want, or just not use a pistol at all. So, again, you got your green dot and your ACOG style sights with a 200 and 300 meter zeroing. You have 300 rounds of 7.62, and then you have 8 40mm high explosive grenades. You have 4 RGO grenades. You have an explosive satchel that's easily capable of wiping out 2-3 buildings or a large group of vehicles. And then you have an RPG-7 with 4 anti-tank rockets. Now, why these are anti-tank rockets, they aren't all that effective against heavy armor. Something like a Strider, it usually takes 2 rockets to fully destroy it. And then lighter armor things, you know, your hatchback sports, off-roads, those types of vehicles, you can kill them in with 1 rocket. And you can use that too against infantry. Say there's a large group of infantry holed up in a building, and you need something with splash damage to kill them. You can use that. But if you still have ammo for your grenade launcher, I highly recommend the grenade launcher over the RPG-7. This loadout has fairly low stamina, even running Specialist and Recon. You can see if I throw on Recon, I still don't have very good stamina. So you gotta keep a close eye on where you're traveling to, and if you can, take a vehicle straight to a spot where you know there'll be a lot of enemy ground vehicles. So say I went to Tower 4, there's usually a lot of enemy ground vehicles under Tower 4, so I can find a good spot around the bottom to set up, and I just wait for infantry and vehicles to show up. And this loadout can be used going around the AO, but just be aware of the fact that you are going to run out of stamina a lot, and this makes you a very big target to get shot. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the next loadout. Alright, the next loadout we're going to be taking a look at is the best loadout for sniping. Now, a few things to note is this loadout requires all 3 perk slots. It requires you to be level 65 at least to acquire the items, and permanently buying them and renting them can be extremely expensive. I believe to perma-buy everything, it's almost $200,000, and to rent it is over $1,200 per respawn. So, it is a very late game loadout, but it is by far the best loadout for sniping and can get you a lot of kills and XP. So for your clothing, you're going to use the Recon uniform. For your perks, you're going to run Ammo, Marksman, and Designator. And then for your weapons, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here. You're going to get the GM6 LYNX with the APDS rounds, and then you're going to get the LRPS. And I highly recommend using a handgun on this loadout. You can use any handgun of your choice. My favorite's this PO7 suppressed. Now, why is this loadout so effective as a sniper? Well, it's effective at a range of about 2,200 meters, sorry. That's 2 kilometers and 200 meters. As you can see, I'm 2 kilometers and 900 meters from the AO right now. That's a very far distance to be sniping from. And then it also has armor-piercing rounds. You can shoot through the walls of towers. So say I'm sitting over here and I see an enemy peek his head up and then duck down through a window on Tower 4. I can shoot through the wall he is hiding behind and get a kill. This loadout is also great for leveling up, because kills over a range of I think it's 800 meters get you a ton of XP. If you're sniping over 1500 meters, you're going to get around 500 XP per kill. And if you're good at sniping, you can rack up 30 to 50 kills a game. So it's very effective for leveling up, and it's also an anti-material rifle. That's what it was originally designed for. So if you happen to see vehicles around, or say someone's coming up on you trying to kill you because you made them mad or something, if you can land a few shots on their vehicle, you can destroy it. You can blow up a hatchback sport with, I believe, 6 shots to the engine, sometimes less. So this rifle does a huge amount of damage. A few things to note though, is that your weapon will sway a ton. So you're going to have to find a spot where you can go prone and bipod. If you can't go prone, make sure you can use your bipod. And I'd recommend just sitting and waiting for a little bit until your scope levels out and then start trying to snipe. Another thing is because you have such low stamina, if you have to move, it's going to be fairly slow. So make sure wherever you're going is someplace you're going to be staying for a while. And if you do have to move, try and make sure you have a vehicle available. And you can use other loadouts for sniping. If you're not worried about shooting through towers, M320 with an LRPS is just as effective against infantry, but it can't shoot through tower walls. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next loadout. Alright, so the next loadout, and the last loadout we'll be taking a look at, is the most effective loadout for every situation. So if you are, say, hunting a sniper, whenever hunting snipers, you want to be prepared for every situation. Say you want to go to the AO and be prepared for every situation, this is a loadout to use. Now, important thing to note, first off, this does require all 3 perk slots. Now for your uniform, you're going to run Specialist. I highly recommend Specialist on this uniform. Again, you can use other clothing, but if you want to be prepared for everything Specialist, it's best, because it gives you some armor, some stamina, and a speed boost. Now for your perks, you're going to want to run the Marksman, Launcher, and Engineer perks. And then for your actual weapons, any of the 7.62 20-round DMRs will work. So this is your MK14, your MK18, your MK1 EMR, and the SPAR 17. The MK14 is my personal favorite, so that's what I'll be using in this video. And then for the scope, you're going to use the AMS. And then launcher, you're going to run the RPG-42 Alamat. And then the handgun, you can use any handgun you want. PO7 is my favorite, so that's what I'm using. Now, why is this loadout effective at every range? Well, you have a rifle with semi-automatic and fully automatic firing modes that works very, very well in close quarters. In fact, in my opinion, better than most assault rifles. It is great at all ranges. Its actual one-hit kill effectiveness is all the way up to about 2 kilometers. After 2 kilometers, your chances of one-shotting people is fairly low. Anything under that, you have extremely high chances of one-shotting people. As far as your actual scope, the AMS has a red dot on top, automatically ranged at 200 meters. Then it has a 3x zoom sight that is automatically ranged to 500 meters. And then if you hit the plus key on your numpad, it has a 10x scope on here as well. So you can shoot at long range, medium range, and close range. And the scope on the MK14 and MK1 and all those guns can range all the way up to 1600 meters. And you can easily account for the drop up to 2 kilometers. And then you have your RPG-42 Alamat, so you're prepared to take out any light or even heavy armored vehicles. You have, of course, have your grenades and smoke grenades and med kits, which are automatically given. You have your speed boost and armor, so you're prepared to move around. You do have a decent bit of stamina, so you can run for long amounts of times. With a specialist, you usually blend in very well too, or fairly well, so it's fairly easy to stay camouflaged. And then if you run out of ammo and all that, you have a PO7 to fall back on, which will serve you very well in the AO. And then, as I said, for sniper hunting, this loadout's the best because you're prepared for every situation. And it's just overall, I love this loadout. This is a great loadout for leveling up if you just go in the AO, because you can rack up kills, you can rack up revives, you can destroy vehicles, you can get bonuses from long range shooting. I mean, it's just overall a perfect loadout. That's really everything you need to know. In the future, I will be covering the best loadouts for vehicle servers, tips and tricks for taking out heavy armored vehicles and jets and things like that. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.